Hello everyone, welcome to your weekly tech update, the show that explores the newest, coolest, and sometimes mind-boggling side of tech available on the interwebs. I am your geek leader, Ray McNeil. Coming up on the program today, Samsung's zero-bezel 8K TV is real. Segway's latest EV prototype looks like Professor X's wheelchair. And happening in this week's What The, a Middletown man live streams himself speeding and then crashing on I-95. That and a whole lot more coming up on today's edition of your weekly tech update. Next. Samsung Korea has just announced a premium 8K TV that it's bringing to CES 2020, confirming the image that leaked a few days ago is in fact real. The Q95 OTS is not only a super high-resolution TV, it also sets a new standard for TV screens with its infinity design. Other than a small edge along the bottom, there's really no frame to speak of, and Samsung says it measures only 15 millimeters thick. Inside, its AI quantum processor powers a revamped UI that's good for upscaling any source to 8K, as well as accessing TV over antenna or streaming services with a universal guide that can combine recommendations from several apps at once. It even has a digital butler that Samsung says will allow it to control other hardware via Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and even older non-internet connected devices. It can mirror content from a mobile device with just a touch using tap view, while picture-in-picture is back with the ability to multitask on one screen. Naturally, there's also support for digital assistants like Bixby, Google Assistant, and Amazon's Alexa. It also has Samsung's AI ScaleNet technology built in that the company has claimed will allow 8K streaming on networks that only have enough bandwidth for 4K streams. Amazon Prime is named as using the technology, although we'll have to see if it's used to stream 8K quality video right away. Separately, the TV supports AV1 for 8K YouTube videos. The AI processor is also behind its audio capabilities with Object Tracking Sound Plus, tech that moves audio around based on what's happening on screen, providing a 5.1 surround effect with just the TV speakers. Meanwhile, a new Q Symphony feature combines the TV speakers with compatible soundbars, which adds up to a potential 9.1.4 speaker setup if you're properly equipped. We should find out more about this display and everything Samsung is bringing to CES, including how well some of these features like Tap View and ScaleNet streaming actually work in practice. Tesla sold 367,000 cars in 2019. That's a new record for the company, according to figures published on its website early last week. While that's on the low end of the estimated 360,000 to 400,000 vehicles delivered that the company offered up at the beginning of 2019, the Silicon Valley automaker still sold more cars in 2019 than it did in the previous 2 years combined. That's all thanks to the popularity of the Model 3 sedan. The new delivery record helps cap what was something of a banner year for Tesla. The company unveiled 2 new prototypes, with the Model Y compact SUV breaking cover in March and the stark, polarizing, and meme-worthy Cybertruck being released in November. Tesla also broke ground on its factory in China, setting the automaker up to make and sell Model 3s locally in the country moving forward, which will help the company duck transportation costs and import taxes. This was all despite a rough start to 2019. Tesla began the year with a $702 million loss in the first quarter, its 4th worst quarterly loss since becoming a publicly traded company back in 2010. Deliveries of the Model 3 dropped drastically from the end of 2018, which CEO Elon Musk attributed to the fact that Tesla was in the process of shifting focus to two potentially huge new markets for the car in Europe and China. Musk said earlier in the year that speeding up deliveries of the high-volume Model 3 in those markets was the most difficult logistics problem that he'd ever seen. The company spent months fighting back the narrative that demand for its cars was falling, and as a result, Tesla's stock prices steadily dropped throughout the first half of the year to below $180 per share. That's its lowest point in 3 years. But the company rebounded in a big way, finishing the year with its stock price at an all-time high, entering 2020 trading at well over $400 per share. Tesla recovered in a big way in the fourth quarter of 2019, delivering 92,000 Model 3s alone and 112,000 vehicles overall, more than it delivered in all of 2017. As is practically tradition at this point, the company made a big push at the end of the quarter to get as many cars out the door as possible to set the record, with Musk even appearing at the company's main factory in California on New Year's Eve to help with deliveries. This was all before Tesla started delivering locally made Model 3s in China as well, which represents a great opportunity for the company to increase its sales in 2020. China is the largest market for electric vehicles in the world, and despite cooling off this year, it could help Tesla keep up the pace of growth that Musk is always hungry for. The company even cut prices on the Chinese-made Model 3 on Friday ahead of the first batch of deliveries beyond the ones to employees. This could help boost sales in the country, though it could come at the expense of profit, depending on how many locally made Model 3s Tesla winds up selling in China. Tesla is likely to continue facing questions about profitability, even with the new sales record. The company has only turned in a handful of profitable quarters in its decade as a publicly traded company. The most recent was the third quarter of 2019, though that was due in large part to sales of regulatory credits, which the company can recognize as revenue whenever it likes. Musk has said a number of times over the last few years that he hopes to make Tesla a consistently profitable company, but much like fellow tycoon Jeff Bezos did with Amazon, he's also proved willing to sacrifice profitability in the name of growth.